Tilled garden, no-till garden, raised beds or no raised beds, that's what today's video is about. Hi there, my name is Tatiana and you're watching YouTube channel YouCan. Today is June 6, 2026, and I'm located in central Pennsylvania, zone 6B. Years ago, I had made one of my very first videos. Someone asked a question about what plants or vegetation grows better in raised beds or not raised beds. So that's what I will cover in today's video. Initially, we had raised garden beds that we made out of 2x4s and just old wood that we had found here and there, and they all rotted in a course of about 3 to 5 years. Downsides to the raised beds that we built. The wood rots pretty quick. Not enough of moisture. The soil dries out really quickly by the sides of the raised bed, so you have to either constantly be watering it, which promotes faster rotting of the raised bed, or you don't water it and then your plants dry. We actually got an offer from a company to make a video with their metal raised beds, and we declined because the raised beds dry out so fast. And if you don't want them to dry out, you have to use a significant amount of water to keep the sides especially hydrated, because the sun beats down on the sides of the raised bed and really dries out the entire raised bed then. There are positives to raised beds. First of all, you don't have to squat or bend down to garden. If you build them high enough, they can be at waist height, and it could be very, very easy on your back if you have back issues. Another positive is that if your soil is very poor, or maybe you have rocky land and you don't really have anything to work with, building up a raised bed definitely gives you the opportunity to fill that space with soil and actually garden. Till the garden. Why we don't till? The garden soil, just like our body, has bacteria in different areas, different kinds of bacteria. So if you were to look at a cross-section of soil at the bacterial content, there's different bacteria on different levels of the soil cut. So the microbiome of the soil is there for a reason. And if we go through and we till all of this stuff around, the bacteria that's supposed to be on top gets tilled underneath, so it can no longer survive, it dies. But the top layers of the soil that have a completely different set of bacteria that are supposed to be hidden from sunlight and from air exposure get exposed to the air and sun, so they also die. But that's a whole big topic. There's a good book called Pharmacology that is lovely in explaining all of that. So in short, if you till your garden every year, you're going to be unnecessarily struggling to grow your plants. You will need to excessively fertilize, you will need to constantly battle weeds and different diseases and all this stuff that happens from a disturbed soil perspective. If you do not till your garden, you're actually preserving that very natural state of the soil, and your plants actually have a very healthy immune system. Yes, plants have an immune system just like humans do, so they work synchronistically with the soil that they're growing in to obtain that immune system. So tilling is not the way for us. We did find a happy medium between raised beds and tilling, and I will show you what we did. So it's been a couple weeks since I came out here to do anything, but we have discovered this edger type of thing that we put in to separate the lawn from the grass. It's this little plastic insert that you have to edge the soil, and then you push it in and you pin it down with these metal stakes. But what we did is we created that edge, we put that border in, and then we have our garden where we basically build the soil up with clippings, grass clippings, mulch, compost, and all the different stuff, and then the lawn is over on the other side. We don't actually go in with a tiller and till any of this at any point. I just keep the areas where we plant I use a little garden tool to kind of fluff the soil up if I'm going to be planting a plant in, just right there specifically. If I am sowing seeds, then I just kind of loosen it up a little bit on the top with a rake and sow the seeds in. But because we've been gardening in this area for close to 8 years now, the soil is very, very loose and very fluffy, and I can actually go in with my hands and just kind of loosen it up without having to like really dig around in it before I sow seeds. But that's what works the best for us. A, we don't have that drying effect from raised beds. B, we're not tilling this constantly. We're keeping the lawn out of it by this edge or border, because you can really trim the grass right up to it or mow. And it gives a really nice look when the grass is trimmed. We just didn't have the chance to do that in the last couple, I don't know how long. But this border works really well. At least it works really well for us. On this side, we didn't have the border thing, so I just basically edged the end of the garden, basically taking a shovel and scooping the dirt up to create this little hill and a rut. Because if you create a space between the lawn and the garden, the grass won't go through into your garden bed. So that has been working for us. I do want to put that edger like we did on the other side. On this side, just because it's a little bit easier to maintain, it does give a nice look as well. We have a huge cabbage patch this year. I don't know what I was thinking when I was planting all the cabbages, but I planted a lot of them, and they're doing fantastically well here. This has not been tilled either, and this is a new spot of garden for us. And I just went and fluffed up the soil right where I was going to plant the cabbage, threw the cabbage in, mulched around, put chips in the walkway, and as you can see, it is loving it here. If I was starting a brand new garden plot today, I would pick a spot in my yard, I would edge it, I would put the plastic edger in, and I would garden from there. We planted some hazelnuts and so excited for our first hazels. These are significantly bigger than the other ones. This tree is also a lot older, but this is the first year that there are any nuts on it. We had a very late frost this year, but 2 clusters of pawpaws survived, and yay, we're gonna have at least a little bit to munch on this fall. And the black raspberries are done for the season, and this year was a slightly disastrous year with them because last year we did not tip them like we were supposed to, and they grew way too big. It was really difficult to reach them. Anyway, next year is the next year, and we can try all over again, just to show you that gardening doesn't have to be perfect. Every year is a new start, and you can always try something different the following season.